Hello and welcome to another video of Excel Academy. So today we are joined by CS Rajesh sir, who is an advocate and company secretary. And he is a advocate first and then company secretary. That means he has practiced as an advocate at the courts and now he's practicing as a company secretary. Hello sir, welcome to our
Hello,
Excel
sir.
Academy
Hello.
channel.
Yeah.
So Rajesh sir is already our faculty for our offline classes, and now we are happy that he's joining us for the online classes too. So today we are going to be discussing about CS Professional, because very soon Rajesh sir will be starting the live batch for CS Professional drafting. Sir, first thing is, what is this subject name and why do we have this subject?
So the subject is called as drafting, pleading, and appearances. In fact, when we were doing it, it used to be called as drafting, pleading, and conveyances.
Correct.
Conveyancing basically, which was relating to transfer of immovable property and the interest thereto. Now they've changed it, and then they are concerned more about the appearances because since the company secretary can appear before the tribunal and other
Correct.
places, they want to concentrate more on the appearances. Now, what is drafting, pleading, and appearance? When we actually look at the name of the subject, it seems like as if it is a very hi-fi kind of a thing, or else it is a very difficult subject to understand. In simple terms, it is nothing but drafting is nothing but writing,
Okay.
and then pleading is nothing but requesting with a, or else asking with a very humble tone or else humble language. And appearance is where you actually appear before the authority. It could be
Yeah.
ROC, it could be tribunal, etc. It could be anything.
Now, any judicial or
quasi-judicial or any judicial authority,
Okay.
we call it as appearances. Now, to make it still more simple,
Hmm.
I would like to ask you something.
Yeah.
Have you written a leave letter when you were in school?
Definitely. If we're applying for leave or suddenly we get stomach ache and we say we don't want to
Correct.
go. So leave
Correct.
letter we have applied.
You have drafted a leave letter, or
Yes.
else you have written a leave letter. Let me
Yes.
not use the word drafted. You have
Written.
written a leave letter.
Correct.
And once you write a leave letter, what do you do?
We go and give it to the teacher, class teacher or whoever is responsible.
Okay, so the first one is you are writing.
Yeah.
And then what you would have written in the leave letter? Like what would be
Requesting.
the tone or else the
It is a
language?
requesting tone saying
It
that
is a requesting tone.
Yeah.
Like you don't say that I want leave. It is like may I get a day's leave or else may I get 2 days leave, something
Yeah,
like this. So it is actually a requesting tone.
Correct.
So that is nothing but pleading.
Yeah.
That is where you are asking for leave, but in a very humble manner.
Yes.
Then once it is written, do you go to the teacher and give it?
Yeah, we
I
give
mean,
it to
teacher, principal,
whoever
class
is
teacher,
the HOD
authority.
or whatever. Yes.
So that is nothing but appearance.
Okay.
So it is as simple as that. But only thing is this, the term drafting that we are using here is with reference to the documents, deeds, any legal document for that matter. It could be a letter to ROC, or else it could be even a board resolution. It could be a simple general meeting resolution. It could be anything. Simply put, it is, we call it as a
Yeah.
drafting.
Sure. So here, sir, many students feel that this is subject is easier for students who studied LLB, or in your case, you practice an advocate, then you practice as a CS. So is this just a myth, or can this skill be learnt?
No, sir, it is definitely a myth. Because if that is the case, then that would definitely be difficult for a LLB student.
Correct.
Isn't
So,
it? So
true.
it is definitely not like that. It is just like you need to put in lot of practice and then keep looking at the documents. Like once you see a document, then you know what is there in the document, and then you basically what I say is you need to do little bit of brainstorming before you actually sit and draft a document.
Okay.
Like for example, let us assume you want to write a leave letter. Now you just presume that you are a 8th standard student. You want to write a leave letter. Now what do you do?
So
Is it like simply like you are a 8th standard kid now, you are not Alok company secretary. You don't take the sheet and then start writing, etc. etc. Now what do you do basically?
first we'll think like, what should I write? What should my reason be?
What should the lie be?
Exactly. For leave letter, it is like
It is most of the times it is a lie.
Correct.
Then
we'll plan that who are we going to address it to.
yes,
Then what is the subject line? What should I do?
absolutely.
Then how many days leave I want?
Yes.
So those kind of things I'll plan in my head. Then I'll take a paper.
Absolutely. Now what you have done is basically you have done a brainstorming. That is, you
Correct.
just think like, why do I want leave, and what are the reasons that I can give for getting a day's leave, and then you start writing.
Exactly.
Now okay, you write and then directly do you go and give it to the teacher?
First, we'll read once whether everything is right,
Absolutely.
or if it's not right, again write one more letter.
Absolutely. Now
Redraft
that is
it.
nothing but editing.
Editing.
Now, when we
yes.
write the first letter, where maybe chances are that some small mistakes are there, that we call it as a draft document,
Draft.
which is not a final document. Then there you find out that there are certain mistakes, you have left out the date or something like that, and then you draft it again. Then you remove those mistakes, or else you make some corrections, and then you come out with a final document. Now that we call it as a final document. Now once you do the same thing with any other document for that matter, then it means that you know what is drafting. So it is not necessary that you have to be an advocate, or else you should have done your LLB and then you come to CS, it becomes easier. Definitely not like that.
So basically, what sir is telling here is it is a skill which can be learned with practice.
With practice, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that is why we are here. So before we go into the other videos and other things, I want to generally understand there are three parts in this entire subject.
Yes.
So what is covered in brief, if you have to tell in 2-3 sentences in each part of this subject, of these three parts?
Basically, they have divided this into very simply put. One is drafting. It could be drafting of various documents, legal documents. It could be memorandum. It could be articles, and then it could be notices to the annual general meeting. It could be notices to any other general meeting, notice to board meeting, and then various other deeds like sale deed, lease deed, and then share purchase agreement, shareholders agreement, these kind of things, and then also drafting of a plaint, a written statement, drafting of memorandum of appearance. All these things come under drafting. Then it is pleading. Pleading in general terms, I mean, simply put, we think that it is requesting. But when we actually look at the definition which is given under CPC, Civil Procedure Code, they say pleading means a plaint or else a written statement. So it could be both a plaint or else a written statement. So in general terms, pleading means requesting, but there it is plaint or else a written statement. But again, what do we do in plaint or a written statement? You are an advocate, you must be knowing. You write everything and in the court of etc. etc. You write the facts of the case, blah 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 blah. Finally, you write that the plaintiff hereby humbly prays. So it is like humbly praying is nothing but pleading. Humbly prays for certain reliefs. He says that I want a temporary injunction, permanent injunction, etc. etc. So he is basically pleading. That is requesting the court in a very humble manner. Then next is appearances. Naturally, you need to appear before the court, or else it could be a tribunal, and then you say that this is why you have filed a petition. It could be a plaint, a written statement, or else merely you write a letter. Now, let us assume that you have filed some forms with the registrar of companies. Then subsequently, you find that you have made a mistake. Now, you want to remove that form and then refile some other form without any mistakes. Now, what do? You write a letter, which is nothing but drafting, and then you go and then request, that is, which is nothing but a pleading. Of course, you do pleading in the letter as well. Now, in person, you go and tell them that why you need it, because just because you write a letter, it doesn't mean that the ROC will have to give it. Now, you explain the things to him. Now, naturally, he is going to ask why you have made a mistake. Then you tell him that this is the reason you have made a mistake. You are under the impression this, that, something like that. And then you tell him that why you want that particular form to be reversed or else taken out and a new form to be filed. So, there you appear and give him the reasons, because writing, you don't have that emotions in that. It is merely like you may say that I love you. Now, I might take it very offensive. You might be saying in a different tone, but I might take it in a different tone if it is in writing. But if it is in person, like you tell it in person, then I will understand what you are trying to say.
What is the context? What is
the context? What is the tone? All those things would be understood.
Yeah, it could be that you have helped me something in a nick of time and I said, Rajesh sir, I really love you for this.
Absolutely.
So that doesn't mean something else.
It doesn't mean something else.
But if you're in writing, it could be misunderstood.
It could be misunderstood.
True, exactly.
So what we do is we appear and then put it in words. In a very humble manner, like what we have written, we do that. Now that is under appearances. Now how do you appear? Now that is given under the part which covers appearances. You cannot, go in a slipper.
Correct.
You cannot, go in night dress. There are certain what should I say? Etiquettes and code of conduct. And then how do you behave with your fellow professionals? how do you address the maybe a registrar of companies, or else how do you address
Presiding
the court,
officer in
the
NCLT.
presiding officer, how do you appear before a trademark registry? Like before a trademark registry, you don't have to use the word honor,
Correct.
your honor. Whereas if you are appearing
say
before
sir.
a regular judicial authority, naturally you are supposed to appear, address them as your honor. So these things we learn under the appearances.
And this becomes very important, especially for all the students who are in CS professional, because generally, if you see ICSI, what they're trying to do is to give the scope for company secretaries, not just for filing forms or the desk work and documentation, but if you are ready and if you have the capacity and skill, you can appear in NCLT or SAT. Of course, you can say how many people will get opportunity, but if you are ready, you never know.
You never know.
You should
Absolutely.
be ready and you should have that skills, and that is why this subject is there, where it is very practical. It is, many people misunderstand it's a theory subject,
Yeah,
but
that's
actually
right.
it's completely practical, because you have to actually draft, actually know the skills of appearances and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that is good. So for everyone who is doing the CS professional, we have mentioned earlier, but again, so there is a form in the description below. You can fill that Google form and we'll tell you when Rajesh sir will be taking this subject. But before that, I also want to ask some more questions relating to this. So students ask one common question: should we verbatim write the drafts which are there in the book? This is one very common question. Even if they're in CS professional, they ask this. So since you'll be teaching this subject, I want to ask you about this drafts, how it should be drafted.
So one thing which most, all the students will have to, understand is that a student will have to be much more brilliant than a teacher, or else much more, what should I say, brilliant than a company secretary. If you're doing a CS course, then you'll have to be much more brilliant than a company secretary. This was given when I was doing my LLB. This was given in a book which was like Legal Language, which was written by Glanville Williams. He says that a teacher is, a student is supposed to know the law, and whereas a teacher is supposed to know where to find the law.
Where to find the law.
That is sufficient for us. Now, to be honest, I'll ask you, or maybe I'll answer the question first. Do I know how to draft a memorandum of association? The true answer is no. I can go to Google, download it, and then the work is done. But can a student do that?
No.
He or she can never do that. So they are expected to know the law. They are expected to know what has to be written, because they can never tell when they are writing the exam, they cannot tell that I'll get back to you.
Correct. At least for clients, we can say
We can
that.
always say that. We can always say that I'll refer and I'll get back to you.
Correct.
But it cannot be
In an exam.
done in an examination. So
Yeah.
of course you will have to know. But the question is whether they will have to reproduce it verbatim. Definitely not required.
Exactly.
Definitely
This is
not
an important
required.
clarification.
Because now what is that we are doing is, we are just telling the examiner or the person who is correcting the paper, we are just telling him that, see, we have studied the subject. We know what is there in the subject.
Exactly.
We are able to reproduce it within a period of 5 minutes or 8 minutes for a particular question. Whatever can be given in that 8 or 9 minutes, we are giving it. So what is required is simple English language, that is sufficient, and to show them that we know the subject. So that would be more than enough.
Yeah, because one more thing is, in exam they're just testing whether are you ready to face this tomorrow in the real world. And
Yes.
so you don't have to be 100% perfect, put every word which is there. But when they read your answer, they should feel, okay, this person is capable.
Yes.
He deserves to be a company
It deserves to be a company secretary.
tomorrow.
That's
That
right.
should be
That's
the
right.
idea. So, sir, since you'll be handling this subject, what is the kind of approach? Another very common question: which book we should refer? That is one thing which every student
asks. Yeah, I go only by the study material, sir, because the study material is excellent. If you are able to go through the study material, read it some 2 or 3 times. Many students would be wondering what 2 or 3 times the study material, which has got around 500 or 600 pages. You will have to do it, and you don't require any other book.
Exactly, because one more thing student asks is which book to study. According to me, when you are studying 1 module, 2 module, whatever you are writing, because nobody is writing only one subject, by the time you study the study material, exam will come. You don't have time for
You don't have time
one
to
more book.
study some other book. Absolutely.
Exactly. And one more simple question is, why would ICSI take the pain to draft such a wonderful book, send it from Delhi to your house, and then you're telling which book to study? This is something which
right.
I can never understand. But like
correct.
Rajesh sir said, for drafting, pleading, and appearances, the study material is more than enough.
More than enough, yeah.
And in fact, you will not be able to complete it with perfection just by reading, and that is why we are suggesting you can consider this coaching classes where Rajesh sir will be taking the classes. Sir, is there anything else we need to do in this introductory video about drafting, pleading, and appearances which you like to share?
No, sir. I think that would be, I mean, more than enough. Only
Yes.
when, if at all they are taking the course, then they'll have to go through the book once, because that I find that most of the times these students think that they can simply, I mean, when the live session is going on or when the class is going on, they feel that that is the first time they open the book.
Yeah,
I
it
think
should
that
not
should
be
not be
there.
done.
Exactly.
They'll have to first go through the material, and when we teach, it should actually be a revision for them, or else at least a second reading for them.
That they have a better understanding
That'll
of the
they'll be able
lesson.
to understand it much better. Yeah.
So basically what we're going to do in this series is, this is the first video where we generally discussed about what is this subject, why do we have it, why it is important for company secretaries, because there are a lot of opportunities when we talk about appearances, and ICSI also wants to project that not only lawyers but even company secretaries can do this, and you have to be prepared. So in the next videos, Rajesh sir will be sharing some of the important concept and overview of the different chapters in this subject. So what you can do is, whoever is interested, make sure you fill the Google form. We'll tell you how to join, how to register. Those details will be shared by our Excel Academy team. So we'll be ending this video. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll be having many more videos in this series by Rajesh sir. And all the best for exam. Make sure you watch all the videos in this series. Good luck to you.